There's actually at least one more fastener that's still connected this bracket for the motor mount to the block. So I'm actually going to have to take off these upper timing covers first, and then I can remove the timing covers, then this motor mount bracket. Then I think I'll go down below and then get the... Actually, no, I need to put the engine at TDC, or top dead center, before I remove the pulley. Because there are marks on the pulley, and there's going to be marks on these upper timing chains, or gears, I should say. It's definitely better to put everything at top dead center and then take the timing belt off. But I'm going to do the water pump first, actually. Take the water pump off, then the timing belt. Alright, let's see if I can actually get some of these off in shot. Yep, these are 10 millimeter bolts. Oh, I could get this one. This is good. Okay, I got all the bolts removed out of the front cover. So now I should be able to just pull this off, like so. Or maybe there's one more bolt. Yeah, it's definitely one more somewhere in there. Okay, now that I finally removed the last fastener from this cover, now I can remove it. Just place it up here. Let's see. Maybe it's got a little bit warm. I don't know. This timing belt doesn't look too fresh. But either way, I need to change it out just for safety, just to make sure, because these are interference engines. So you can destroy these engines if you let the timing belt break on you. Oh, also want to find the timing marks. I think the timing mark is just right there, so I'm going to have to rotate. Can I get in there for you to see it? But I also need to check the timing marks on the crank. So, I have to do more disassembling, then get this engine in time, or at TDC. Some of these bolts on the back timing cover. Yep, just got to get that in the slot. And the other ones I have to do off camera because they're on the back side and there's even less access to them over there compared to this front cover. Alright, now there's just a few more bolts I'm going to have to take off of the lower cover just around here. It's going to be kind of hard to get it, but you'll be able to get a little bit of footage. Let's see if I can get down here. What I could reach. I think these are all going to be 10 mil. Alright, now I'm just gonna pull off this pulley right here so I can have better access to this lower engine cover. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah, someone's driving by. Oh, do need to get this little washer out. This is very important. I'm gonna have to just come back and grab that. But I'll just remove some more of these bolts for this lower cover. Then I could get all these parts out the way. Alright, the little access hole is right up here, so you could tighten up this bearing or this pulley with the cover on. I don't know how important that is, but Honda did want to put it in there. But it's loose, so I want to see if I can take it out from the bottom. Alright, there we go. Then I think I'll Oh, I definitely need to take this little washer out. This little keyhole, I think that's called, this doesn't want to come out. I'll leave it. Another video showed that there was crank sensor over here, but it doesn't. Seems like that's for an older model Honda. I think I'll still unloosen these fasteners. Just kind of see what's going on in here. Alright, now I just want to show the health of this gasket. And this gasket around this lower timing cover is pretty good. It's pretty good. I'll just need to clean this up and be able to throw this back on. And put these fasteners right in place. And then some of these little mounting holes are actually broken, so might actually want to replace this lower timing belt cover too. But it'll be alright like this for now. Okay, now what Honda did is they hid one of the bolts for this bracket in the middle of it. So it's a little bit tough to find, but there it goes, finally. Yep, definitely need an electric ratchet wrench. And this is how this one looks. Got a nice little cup in there, nice little cutout. Put this to the side. Oh, and I already removed the battery from the vehicle, so I don't have to worry about the engine starting or anything like that. So now I should be able to just remove the fasteners. Actually, first I'm gonna put the engine in time while I got all the tensioners and the water pump still installed. Okay, I placed the crank pulley back onto the crank sprocket so I could look at the timing marks. I'm just going to rotate the engine by hand with one of these cam bolts right here. And I'm probably going to have to rotate it quite a bit but it's the best way to make sure everything is set proper. Well, it doesn't really want to rotate, so might try something a little different. All right, now all I had to do is, after I had the crank sprocket put back on in place, now I just threw in the crank bolt, so then I'll just rotate the engine with the crank bolt. Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep on rotating it. And this looks like it's the actual original Honda timing belt, or if it's not, it's just a Honda branded timing belt. So if this is the original one, this was definitely overdue. So it's a good thing I'm doing it now. I'm just going to keep on rotating it until I get the engine top dead cylinder, or top dead center. Then I'll be ready to remove the water pump. Okay, I have the engine in time. Let's see if I can get in real close. Get a little bit more light for the camera too. Alright, the timing mark. Maybe you can see the number 1 on that sprocket, but the number 1's indicating number 1 cylinder is in time with this top timing mark. And the timing mark on the cam sprocket is right in line. The timing mark on the back of this cover right here. Then also on this rear cam, let's see if I can get in between all this. The timing mark. It's not perfect like on the other side, but it is pretty close. So this isn't too bad. I might want to make it a little bit closer when I take the timing belt off. I'll try to show you guys on the bottom the keyhole that is facing straight up. Not sure where it's showing that it's at top dead center, except for it's pointing straight up. But with everything lined up at top dead center, now I'm going to take off the tensioners and the pulleys, and then I'm going to remove the timing belt. Alright, I took off this tensioner here, and that actually took out a lot of slack on the bottom of the timing belt. I don't know if I'll be able to get a good shot of it. But yeah, you can barely see it. But, well, you can see this part. Yes. No slack on here, but there's a lot of tension on the top. But whenever I take the tensioner and the pulley off, some more of the tension should come off. I should be able to remove the timing belt very easily. And this is a 14 millimeter socket. Well, that's on real tight. Nope, can't really get in there. It's not enough light in there. At least not for the camera. It's enough for me to see somewhat decently. Oh yeah, that's way better for the camera. Yep, nice. This is also a 14 millimeter. Okay, now I should be able to pull this up. pull it out, but it definitely fell. I'm still surprised there's tension on the top. Right here, right under the water pump. Still very surprised, especially with the tensioner falling. Oh, let me grab it. The sleeve, I'll be able to take the sleeve out, put this in the new tensioner. I'll grab those a little later. So I still need to remove the water pump and this other bearing over here. That's just gonna go right here. Got the big bolt that was attached with. All right, I got this bearing out. So that's the last of them. So now it is time for me to remove the timing belts. Even though the top still is in tension, still a little surprised. Maybe I shouldn't be now, but I'm kind of missing it a little bit, but there we go. All right, timing belt is out. Now, Eric, the car guy, he did a really comprehensive video on this job. Slightly older Honda product. But the most important part about this is that these cam gears, the camshafts, are under tension. So even if you move the cam a little bit, you could just pull it with a wrench and pull it back in place. And then a lot of other vehicles, if they're not like that, they're probably going to have some kind of way to lock the camshaft and the crankshaft in one place. So you're able to do the job safely without having any harm come to the engine. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this rear cam right here a little bit. I'm going to make it so it's even more in time than what it is right now. Because it is just a little bit off. Oh, lost a little bit of my light. So I'm not going to have to move this much at all. Get it on here properly. So we just move ever the slightest. Oh, nope, that did not do it. I think I just need a longer wrench. It's hard to get it. Move it just a little bit. Probably have to do it without having the camera on, because it's a little bit more off now. The cam into a better position and in better time than what it was before. Oh, I can remove the water pump now. So I'm just gonna. Actually, I need to put the light back down here, so you guys can get a nice view of. Alright, and this is the perfect time to do a coolant flush, because you only have to do a coolant flush once every 5 years, 150,000 miles. So if I hadn't done this, I'd be also flushing the coolant. But I already did change out the radiator, so I already done that. And ideally, I would have had another container to save this coolant. Well, I'll try to grab something to save some of it, because like I said, I just did this job, or did the radiator job maybe 6-7 months ago. So the coolant's pretty fresh. It's already got a catch can down here. So I got the catch can right here in place. I think I'm gonna grab a different catch can if I have one, and then take off this water pump. All right, I got my bucket and the normal catch can, because I'm gonna try to save a lot of this coolant, because like I said, a lot of it is really fresh. So I'm gonna save a bunch, and then I'm gonna take off this water pump. There we go. All right, now let's see if I got the last bolts off of this water pump. Yep, there it goes. I do have the catch cans. Let's see how much it's catching. Yes, it's still gonna make a good amount of a mess down here. Yep, so I'm gonna get some rags, some water. Clean this up too after I get this water pump out. Let's see. Yeah, it's just on there nice and good. Alright, metal impellers. Ooh, they used some gasket seal too, along with the rubber gasket. Probably didn't need that. Okay, I got a lot of the new parts in here, so I'm about to open up the box. It's gonna be like a nice little unboxing video, but I'll throw in the soundbite too. So I'm like, open it up. Dun, 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 dun. Just yep, got the new timing belt. This is the most important part, and then this is the I don't even remember what this is called, but the push pin to actually put the tension on this pulley right here. And then I also have the other bearing right here on the other side. So I'm gonna install these. Yeah, I'm actually gonna install these first and then put on the. This does have a little bit of Loctite on it, so I'm actually gonna get some fresh Loctite, put some on here. Just throw just some Loctite. On there. Then I'll look for the slot that it goes in. I already got the water pump in there because when I had it out sitting, it was dribbling coolant for quite a while. It wasn't a lot of coolant, but I didn't want it to keep on just dribbling out, so I actually just threw that on. It's time to get this one in place. I'm gonna get the other one in place too. Now I'm gonna just throw on the timing belt. Of course, today I'm not in my parking garage. I'm in the open air. Got nice sunlight, so I don't need to worry about lighting for the camera or to work on the car, kinda mostly. But I got my brother's 2011 Honda Accord. I'm finally getting the timing belt on. I'm gonna show you guys what I got to so far. Okay, and as you can see, I already have the timing belt on, and it is because it's hard to get good visuals whenever you're filming because there's just not that much space in there and with the lighting, so just couldn't really get it that much. Plus I made a mistake anyway, so I had to cut it out. I'm actually just going to tell you about the issue that I came up with. Yeah, the big issue I made was I made a mistake putting in the tensioner pulley, because what I did was I put the sleeve in backwards. So when I put the sleeve in backwards, it didn't let me just screw it in properly, and then I broke the threads in there. And then what that did was it didn't allow me to screw it in. I couldn't even get a new one, a new screw or a new bolt, and screw it in. So also had to replace the water pump too. And then I also got a different timing belt. I got an OEM one, and it actually ended up being maybe a centimeter longer. And that really helped out a lot because I wasn't able to get good tension on the top and the front side of the timing, and just have slack on the back side. It was really difficult to get it like that. So with the new timing belt, I was able to just get the tension just right, and it actually worked. Ended up working a lot better. Yes, I'm gonna be able to. So I'm gonna try to get a shot from the bottom so you could kind of see way better about what I'm talking about. Okay, now you can see a lot better what I'm talking about. That on the right side of the timing belt, it's got good tension, right under that pulley that's all ugly and rusty, but that's surface rust. So I spun it, and since it's brand new, it feels really good. So it's still going to be used, and you could tell that there's a lot of slack on the back side where the tensioner is, and that pulley is the blue one. Yeah, and the fluid that's dripping down, that's power steering fluid. But yeah, all I have to do is pull the pin, and that'll push that pulley so to get more tension on the whole belt, or especially on the backside of the cam or the backside of the engine. But the pin was in there very very stiffly, or yeah, it wasn't just some little a nice pull. It was in there way tougher than I thought. So I actually had to cut it and then use pliers to yank it out. But now you can see that the little piston in there is pressing against the pulley. So now it's got tension on both sides. Yep, so it's ready to go. I just have to put a 19 mil socket on that bolt. Then I need to turn it by hand. And there's a little marking on the little sprocket that shows that the cylinder number one's at TDC. It's kind of hard to see, but and then I have to rotate the engine twice to be sure that everything's still staying in time. Then when I zoom in, you can tell that for the front cam, it's in time because the mark on the sprocket's lining up with the one on the block. But for the rear, it's actually not lined up. Yeah, it's off by a little bit, so I'm actually going to have to take it off, the timing belt off, and then move that rear cam so I could get that lined up properly. Yep, so I redid it, got the cam back lined up, and then I actually bolted that little bracket back on the engine. Yep, I'm just showing you that got a lot of tension on the front, but it's slack on the back. Then I'm going to double check that the front cam is lined up with the timing marks on the block. Yep, just making sure everything's looking good. Yep, the front's good. Now I just gotta double check the back one. Through all the pipes and the hoses. And then, yeah, it's hard to get the light in there, but yep, the rear cam's lined up very nicely. Okay, now right here, I just need to rotate the crankshaft by hand to make sure that the camshaft and the crankshaft all stay in time with the timing belt on there. So that's what you're just seeing me do right here. Yep, so just a nice little discount double check. Make sure everything's good. Because just in case anything's wrong, you want to find out while you're only partially done with it, so you could just easily take it apart and redo it or fix any problems you find. Okay, now I finished that, so now I'm actually attaching the motor mount bracket to the engine, because that you gotta throw that right over top of the water pump, so that actually needs to go on first. So I'm actually just bolting that back in. Okay, and I got everything attached. Actually, no, I don't, not yet. Now I'm just bolting on the front cover for the timing belt. And yeah, just got to work around the water pump. Or sorry, that's not the water pump, that's the power steering pump. Because I don't really want to have to worry about refilling any more than I need to. But now everything's on. I got the rear timing belt cover on. I got the front one on and bolted up. I got the power steering pump all bolted back together. I got the accessory belt on the tensioner. So that's all ready to go too. Yep, got to throw some light in there so you guys can see it all. I got the motor mount bolted up along with the ground strap. Cannot forget those grounds. Got to make sure those are bolted up too. Got the harmonic balancer bolted up along with the tensioner on the bottom. You can see that everything's all nice and neat. It's all ready to go. Then I don't have the battery in there yet, but I'm gonna eventually get the battery in there. Then I'm gonna refill the power steering pump and bleed that system out, because some did leak out. And then also need to bleed the cooling system, because when you do the water pump, you're gonna lose some of it, so you gotta bleed that and refill it too. So I'm gonna get that done, and this job is complete.